They told him his dream was too big, too unrealistic. But what happens when you refuse to let go, even when the world tells you to stop? This is the story of a boy who turned an impossible dream into reality. Robert grew up in a small town. His father was a horse trainer, moving from one racetrack to another, one stable to another, one farm to another. Stability was something Robert never knew. His schooling was constantly interrupted, new teachers, new classmates, new environments. It was tough. But while life was unstable, Robert's dream was steady. He wanted something more than anything else, a horse ranch of his own. Not just a small ranch, but a vast 200-acre ranch where he could train horses and build the life he imagined. It was a sleepy Tuesday afternoon in a sun-drenched classroom. The teacher, a kind but conventional woman, gave the class their next assignment. "For tomorrow," she announced, "I want you to write a one-page essay about what you want to be when you grow up." A simple prompt, but for one boy, it would become a defining moment. Around the room, pens immediately began to scratch out sensible, parent-approved futures: doctors, lawyers, engineers, safe, respectable paths laid out in neat, predictable paragraphs. But for young Robert, this wasn't just another school assignment. This was a declaration, a chance to finally put the burning vision he held inside onto paper for the world to see. That night, long after his family had gone to sleep, Robert's desk lamp cut a solitary circle of light in the darkness. He wasn't just writing an essay, he was channeling a destiny. He poured every ounce of his passion onto the page, the words flowing not from his mind but from the very core of his being. One page turned into 3, then 5, until a 7-page manuscript lay before him. This was no mere description, it was a blueprint for his life. He didn't just say he wanted a horse ranch, he designed it. He sketched the sprawling 5,000 square foot home at the heart of a 200-acre property. He drew the state-of-the-art stables with stalls for 100 thoroughbreds, and even a full-sized 1-mile racetrack. Every fence post, every window, every pasture was meticulously placed, drawn with the certainty of someone who had already been there. He wasn't just imagining it, he was mentally walking its paths, breathing its air, feeling the sun on his face. The next day, he walked to the front of the class and handed in his 7-page declaration, the paper heavy with the weight of his soul. A wave of pride washed over him. But when the essay was returned, that pride shattered into a million pieces. Scrawled across the top in bold red ink was a large F, and a single crushing note. His heart sank. The dream he had so carefully built had been dismissed with the stroke of a pen. A big red F was written on the front. His teacher had left a note, "See me after class."
"Sir, why did I fail?"
Robert, this dream is unrealistic for a boy like you. You don't have money, your family moves constantly, you lack resources, it's impossible. Rewrite your essay with something practical and I'll reconsider your grade.
Robert was crushed. That night he sat quietly staring at his essay. His father noticed his sadness and asked what happened. Robert told him everything. After a pause, his father said something that would stay with him forever.
"Son, this decision is yours. But remember this. If you change your dream now just because someone says it's impossible, you'll keep giving up every time life gets hard. But if you hold on to it, even when it feels impossible, one day you might just make it real."
Robert thought about it for a week. Then he walked back into class holding the exact same essay. He handed it to his teacher and said,
"Sir, you can keep the F, but I will keep my dream."
Years passed. Robert worked tirelessly. He saved money, took small jobs, and slowly learned everything he could about horses and land. Life was not easy. There were times when giving up would have been the easier path. But he remembered his father's words. He chose to keep moving forward. Decades passed. The teacher, now retired, often reflected on the thousands of minds he had shaped. He volunteered, leading trips for a new generation, hoping to offer the open-minded guidance he sometimes wished he'd given more freely. It was on one such trip, with the bus humming along a sun-drenched country road, that fate decided to give him a lesson of his own. Suddenly, the landscape transformed. Rolling hills gave way to pristine white fences that seemed to carve a kingdom out of the earth. A sign announced the Dreamcatcher Ranch. The students pressed their faces against the glass, mesmerized by the sprawling, beautiful horse ranch. It wasn't just a farm, it was an empire built on a dream. The bus pulled over. The scale of it was breathtaking. Immaculate stables stood like proud sentinels under the sun. In the vast open pastures, dozens of powerful, graceful horses galloped with a freedom that was palpable. It was a perfect picture, a vision brought to life. As they approached the main stable, a man emerged. He walked with quiet confidence, his face weathered by the sun, but his eyes held a bright, unwavering spark. He was the owner, and he welcomed the group with a warm, genuine smile. The teacher froze. The world slowed down. Through the lines etched by time and hard work, he saw a familiar face. The determination in the eyes. It was Robert, the boy from his class all those years ago, the boy whose dream he had tried to crush with the cold reality of a red F. His gaze swept across the property, and recognition washed over him. The main house on the hill, the circular training track, the creek running through the pasture. It was all there. It was the blueprint from the crumpled essay, the impossible dream of a young boy, now standing before him as a magnificent, undeniable reality. The teacher's eyes welled up, not with regret, but with profound awe and humility. He had spent his life teaching lessons, but in that moment, he was the student. He had taught realism. Robert had taught him resilience. He took a slow step forward, approaching the man his student had become, and said softly,
"Robert, I have to confess something. I gave you an F back then because I had once dreamed like you. I too had big dreams, but life convinced me they were impossible. I didn't want you to go through the same disappointment I did. I told so many children their dreams were impossible, and they believed me. But you didn't. You held on, and today you proved me wrong."
Robert didn't smile with pride, but with quiet understanding. Inside his grand 4,000 square foot home, above the fireplace, still hangs that old essay with the red F. Not as a reminder of failure, but as a symbol of perseverance. Proof that no dream is too big if you refuse to let go. As the sun sets over Robert's sprawling ranch, it's easy to see the triumph. But the real power isn't just in the outcome, it's in the journey. So what are the profound lessons we can draw from his incredible story? Lessons that can transform our own lives. First, never let someone else decide what's possible for you. When Robert's teacher gave him that failing grade, he was projecting his own limited worldview. People often try to fit your ambitions into the small boxes of their own experiences, but their limitations are not your destiny. You are the author of your life's story. Don't let anyone else hold the pen. Second, dreams are not meant to stay on paper, they are meant to be chased. Robert used his drawing as a blueprint, turning a wish into a plan. Break your dream into actionable steps and pursue them with unwavering focus. This is the alchemy of achievement, turning what if into what is. It's about fueling that goal with relentless daily effort. Third, setbacks and rejection don't define you. Your response to them does. That F grade was just the first of many hurdles. There were denied loans and moments of doubt. Resilience isn't about avoiding falls, it's about how determinedly you get back up, stronger each time. Use every no as fuel for your fire. If Robert had listened to his teacher, his dream would have died in that classroom. But because he held on, because he chose to believe in himself, he turned the impossible into an undeniable reality. He didn't just build a ranch, he built a testament to the power of the human spirit. Remember this, your dream might look crazy to others, but it's not their dream, it's yours. Protect it, fight for it, and most importantly, work for it, day after day. Because the only permission you ever need to chase your dream is your own. You've been watching Fuel for Winners. If this story inspired you, make sure to subscribe for more stories that ignite your fire and push you forward. And here's a quote to leave you with, one that defines this channel. A winner is just a dreamer who refused to quit.